They should be given a decent pay rise, and I think that's what they were offered. We've made a fair and reasonable pay offer to NHS staff. Fair and reasonable, fair and reasonable, fair and reasonable, fair and reasonable. A fair and reasonable pay offer.
They haven't done anything wrong.
Is this just some kind of a script they've all been asked to memorise? That was the Transport Secretary, unable to contain his excitement at the government's pay offer to nurses. Now listen to the Conservative Party chairman.
We think that the offer is very fair and reasonable. We think it's a very fair and reasonable offer. Very good pay offer. Our message is very, very clear, Laura, that this is a very fair and reasonable offer. It's a big offer.
And you've made that point.
What I think is a very fair and reasonable offer. This very, very good offer. That is a very, very good offer. We have made this very, very good offer. It is a great offer. This very fair and reasonable offer. Because what I'm saying is that it's a very fair and reasonable offer, first of all. Yeah, I just can't stress enough how that is fair.
Imagine the shock when they realise it doesn't matter how many times you tell viewers this.
It's a big offer.
And you've made that point.
It's still just a crappy real terms pay cut on top of a whole decade of crappy real terms pay cuts. The simple fact is that after more than a decade of real terms pay cuts, some nurses have seen real terms wage cuts of as much as 20% since 2010. Just think about that. It means they'll effectively work a day a week for free. More than a decade of crappy real terms pay cuts have left nurses using food banks and taking out payday loans to feed their families.
We've made a fair and reasonable pay offer to NHS staff.
Members of the Royal College of Nursing have voted to reject the government's offer of a one-off payment for 2022-23 and a derisory 5% increase for 2023-24. Remember, inflation is running ahead of 10%. So no matter how many times the government tells the public this,
so the government believes it was a fair and reasonable pay rise.
It's just another crappy real terms pay cut on top of a whole decade of crappy real terms pay cuts. Our nurses deserve better than that. They've always been there for us. Now let's be there for them.